Most business owners think that branding rules are optional because they're just DIYing their brand. But in fact, branding rules are one of the biggest drivers to trust, recognizability, and sales in your business. But the trick is actually knowing when consistency in following these rules is a non-negotiable versus when you can actually break the rules without hurting your brand. And make sure you hang around to the end because I'm going to give you one quick test you can apply over and over again to know whether you should stick with a branding rule or bend it a little bit. So let's dive in. So hello, if we have not met yet, my name is Jackie and I am a graphic designer who takes gate-kept and hard and complicated design principles and simmers it down so an everyday business owner can apply it to their business without having to spend thousands on a designer, without having to wait for a designer, and with being able to embed themselves into their brand. Because I don't know about you, but for my business, I need to be designing social media posts and YouTube graphics and thumbnails and presentation slides. So many graphics that if I had to hire a designer, which I do sometimes because I've got a team, literally costs me thousands of dollars, and sometimes we don't have the budget for that. So my goal is to teach you how you can do that for yourself, but still look professional even though you're DIYing. And so today I want to speak through design rules. So if you don't know what design rules are, pretty much they are rules to your brand, a guidebook to your brand, a map for how your brand should look, especially your visual brand. And so for me, I always teach my clients, we have four main things in our branding rules. Our logo, honestly, the least important part, your branding colors, your brand fonts, and your brand elements. And the goal is that if you use each of these four parts consistently, you're going to have a brand that can show up consistently. And not only, my friends, does that save you time in terms of every time you design a post, you already know which colors, fonts, and elements you're going to use. It literally saves me hours every week because I know those things. But secondly, is it sets you up to being a professional. If you saw a business, like imagine one of the biggest brands that you know, and they were just changing up the way that they look every second week, it would erode some of the trust we have in that brand. We would think, do they really know what they're doing? Do they even know what they stand for as a business? Are they changing their niche? Are they changing what they're presenting? Like, it would just, as an audience, confuse us and make us unsure of what they were offering, what their price point was, and who they were actually talking to. And so as a small business, we need to use the power of brand to our advantage rather than letting, oh, I'm just DIYing it, let's put together a quick Canva template, actually ruin the trust and ruin the rapport and ruin the recognizability you could be building through every single post. Because consistency in your designs is how your audience remembers you long enough to actually purchase from you. Because a buyer needs 8 to 12 touch points with your brand to feel like they trust you and to consider purchasing from you. And so if every time they see you, whether it's on an Instagram post or a flyer or a website or a presentation, if those graphics aren't consistent, then they're going to be unsure of who you are and what you're about. So it's really important we have this consistency. It trains our audience to recognize us. It really represents what we stand for and who we're for and what we're like to work with. Plus, it just makes it easier to design with. And so as a general rule of thumb, we need to apply your branding consistently across everything. And so every social media post should use the same colors, the same fonts, and the same elements in there. And by elements, I'm meaning things like little graphics or illustrations that you're using consistently over and over again that create a bit of a vibe and a feel. You can imagine if you had a collection of like ripped paper and dried flower elements, and then all of a sudden you started using really retro flowers and 70s swirls, then your brand is actually going to feel very different, and it's going to create this disconnect between your audience and you. And so what's important is that we use those three things really consistently along with our logo. So our colors, fonts, elements, and our logos. Logos is the easiest thing to do because you can just whack it somewhere. In all honesty, your logo is one of the things your audience is seeing the least. So it's really important that we use the parts of our brand that our audience is seeing the most consistently. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to recognize it. Now, a big mistake I see business owners making here is they get bored of their brand. I mentioned this in another episode recently, but in essence, if you're getting bored of your brand, that's a good thing. That's what you want to happen. That means you're using your brand consistently. Your goal as a business owner isn't to feel like wildly excited and creative about your brand every single time you open it. Your brand should be a tool for you to be able to use easily and consistently and quickly. And it should be a tool to connect with your audience. And if you keep changing up the colors you're using or the fonts you're using or picking a different Canva template every other week, your audience is going to have no consistency or be able to form a relationship with you or be able to form recognition with you. And so what actually needs to happen is you need to get bored of your brand, because chances are by the time you're getting bored of your brand, you've actually started using it consistently rather than changing it up because you got bored. So that's the first thing to consider, is don't be afraid to get bored of your brand. Use those elements consistently because that's when the recognizability begins to get built. And so generally the rule is always, always, always use all of your branding elements, always. Now, there are some caveats I want to mention. If at all possible to use your branding elements, your colors and your fonts absolutely everywhere, please do that. I have absolutely no qualms with that. But I want to share with you a couple of caveats in case you're like, oh, Jackie, but this, oh, what about this? Because sometimes when I've had discussions with my clients, sometimes they get held back by the consistency that needs to happen, that they're not sure how to make that happen. So generally, if you're making a graphic in Canva, it's quite easy to bring in that consistency. If you have Canva Pro, you can upload any of your brand fonts, you can obviously use any color, and you can import any elements or use Canva's element sets. No issues there. But where it might get tricky is when you go to different platforms. The biggest culprits I see for this is email and website. For example, I have a beautiful website. Feel free to check it out and give it a stalk. It does not feature any of my actual brand fonts. One of my main brand fonts is Poppins. The website builder I used, Show It, did not have Poppins already loaded in, and I couldn't be bothered loading it in. So I just went for the closest font that they had and used that instead. And I can guarantee none of you noticed. But the key was, the way that I was able to break that rule is I chose the closest font possible to that style. So I didn't just choose, so Poppins is a clean sans serif font. I didn't just choose a really cursive font all of a sudden, or I didn't just choose a serif font. I chose the closest font that I could that had a very similar feel to my actual brand font. So you can do that too. If you've got a website builder or an email builder and you can't find the exact right font, pick the closest font to your main brand font and use that instead. Similarly with color, usually with your colors, you can upload those to any website builder or any email platform. So please do that. So the biggest thing you can kind of tweak a little bit if you're finding this really tricky is using different fonts in your email builder and your website builder. You obviously might not be able to use all of your brand elements there, but at any point, like often what I'll do, if I'm adding a picture into an email or into a website, what I might do is actually bring that picture first into Canva, layer in a couple of brand elements to that picture, then export that picture as a transparent PNG file. You'll need Canva Pro for that. And then I upload that edited picture to my website, and then all of a sudden my brand elements are being brought in there, even though it's usually a little bit trickier to bring brand elements in otherwise to a website. And don't be afraid to keep a website kind of simple. Just have some clean blocky sections, have your brand colors, have clean headings, and that's where the magic's going to happen, not trying to overcomplicate things. Another place that can be tricky to implement your brand is places like Instagram and social media. I don't want you to be designing every single Instagram story or every single Instagram reel inside Canva. That's not necessary, and it takes you a lot of time. And also, Instagram really likes content that was built on the platform, not just because the algorithm loves it, but also mainly because your audience sees it as something that feels more authentic rather than being advertised at. And so what I recommend instead is building things like reels, building things like your Instagram stories right inside the Instagram app. And so what I do, obviously my font again isn't on Instagram, so instead I just choose the closest font I can. For me, it's the classic font on my iPhone, and so I just use that every time I'm designing. And again, it's a similar-ish font, definitely not identical, and I use that same font over and over and over again. I don't choose the cute serif font that I actually like more. I choose the font that's closest to my brand font, because that way, whenever they see an Instagram story, then they click through to my Instagram feed and then they click through to my website, it's all consistent. It all has the same feel to it. Because if I was just to swap a font or swap a color out, that's going to create a different feel for the brand. And not only is that going to erode my brand recognizability, it also erodes the brand message that I'm trying to portray, because there was a reason I chose the fonts and colors that I chose at the start of my brand. If I'm not using those consistently, I'm not communicating the right message. And then a little tip for colors, you can actually make like a color palette on Canva and take a screenshot of that and then upload that as a sticker inside your Instagram, and you can add that sticker into your Instagram and use the eyedropper tool to select that same brand color while you're inside your Instagram stories. I do this every single time. I've done a full tutorial on how to do this on YouTube, so I'm going to link that in the description and on the screen now. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to head over and check that one out after this so that you can learn how to easily put your brand colors right inside Instagram, because you can do your exact brand colors relatively easily once you know how. Some other places where you might slightly break the branding rules is maybe seasonal content. Like if there's like a Black Friday sale, you might use more black than normal. Or if there's a Christmas thing happening, you might use a Christmas kind of feel. But at the same time, try to bring your branding into that. Like when I'm doing a Christmas post, I might still use my brand colors, but I might add in a little Christmassy element. But I'll still try and make that element as close to being on brand as my normal elements as possible. I'm not just going like full Christmas vibes. I'm still a business and I still need to look like my business. Otherwise, I'm just some rando posting a Christmas post. Another place you might want to break the rules is collaborations. Every now and then I might collaborate on an Instagram post, which means that me and a different business are both posting the same post to our feed. And because we both have two different brands, we might end up posting different kind of content. And that's okay. Like every now and then, like I would rather post a collaboration than be perfectly on brand. And so there's times where you have to let the push and pull go, but every time where it's in your control, that's where you push the branding in there. So we build that recognizability. And so before I share with you the quick test where you can know whether you should break your brand or follow your brand, I want to invite you to something very special. I have a totally free masterclass that if you have not seen it yet, you need need to come along to. It's called Design Tools to Get to 100K Online. And in there, I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to build a consistent and strong and professional brand and graphics for your business. You're going to learn 3 design mistakes that you're probably making that are costing your professionalism. I'm going to share with you some Canva templates that are performing wildly well and show you in real time how to use them so you can steal my process. Plus, I'm going to show you some Canva hacks and shortcuts that are going to save you absolute hours when you're using Canva and multiply so much time over the life of your business. It is 100% free, and I can guarantee it's going to be an incredible use of your time, and I would love to see you there. Just head to the link in the description or just head to whitedeer.com.au/design masterclass. So when you're asking yourself, will I break the design rules or not? Ask yourself firstly, is it possible for me not to break my rules? Like, can I upload a font here? Can I use my brand colors here? Or am I just being lazy? If you're just being lazy, do a little bit of extra work to get everything working and being as on brand as possible. And secondly, ask yourself, will breaking this design rule confuse my audience or help me connect with them faster? If you're doing a collaboration post, for example, if it's going to make you connect with the other person's audience more because it's in their brand, cool, go for it. Or if it's going to mean that you can get a website out because you're not having to spend 20 hours trying to work out how to upload a font, great, that's going to help you connect with your audience faster. Do that. But if you're in Canva and you're trying to design a social media post, it's actually quicker to implement your branding into that because it's going to be a muscle that you can build and create. And it means you can stop trying to choose your brand fonts and colors because you're always using the same ones over and over again. The decision fatigue is gone. So I hope you found that helpful. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure you've hit subscribe and like this video if you're on YouTube, and make sure you've subscribed if you're on your podcast platform. And let me know in the comments where you think you might break the rules for your brand. Don't do that. Tell me you're going to follow the rules. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye.